welcome back to our channel. It is Lori here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 3 bedtime devotions of how I teach my kids about Jesus, along with some of the other books, devotion style books that I bought that haven't been some of our favorites. So stay tuned. That is what I'm going to be sharing in today's video. If you're excited for that, for all the moms out there, hit this video, give this video a thumbs up, letting me know that you're here. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any video from Michelle and I. I was inspired by this video to do because I've always been intrigued of what other moms are doing, especially what other Christian moms are doing. How are they teaching their kids about Jesus, and what are they teaching, and what are really good books? Like, what books are worth my time to invest into? So you're in that same boat. You're curious what I do. So I want to share that. I love books, and I love reading to my kids and teaching my kids in a variety of ways, but books are just, as many moms know, it's a great way to have a special moment with your kid, and bedtime is amazing. And I hope if you're not already teaching your kids about Jesus right before bed, I hope this video inspires you to do so with some of the very easy resources that I've been doing that have been making an amazing impact on my kids' lives. So bedtime, again, like I said, is just such an easy way to teach your kids about Jesus and have them in their day about God. And I find that just so important to me, because as they fall asleep, I feel that's adding so much seed. I'm watering that seed of their own faith so powerfully right before they fall asleep. And I love that they're ending their night on God's goodness and learning about Him and His story. Right, I do have, my kids do have their own Bibles, and every once in a while we do pull them out and read from them, especially whenever they show interest in the Bible and pull it out and start reading it. I go all in on that, and I'm right there with them. I'm helping them reading, bringing as much as I know about whatever they're reading into it as best I can. I must admit, we don't read from their Bible yet as much as I would like. That is something, a priority of mine, that I do plan on figuring out how to incorporate that more.
Lila, what are you doing?
I'm writing words in my mini journal from the Bible so I can remember it when I don't have the Bible.
Do you want to make a collection of all your stuff of what you're learning about the armor of God?
And other things.
And other things?
Verses. Yes. So that's a great idea. We'll make sure to make that happen. Will you help me do that?
Yes.
When do I want to incorporate really reading the Bible? They know Mommy does it, because if you've seen my Mommy morning routine, my kids still come in at the very end of my routine. They know that Mom's in here reading her Bible. So I know they see that, but I do want to have one day have time to do it with them and show them how I study it. So that's a work in progress. So what do I teach them about Jesus before bed? There's amazing, great devotions out there that I'm going to share the few that I've bought and I find to be really worth it. First up is the Jesus Storybook Bible by Lloyd. I heard so many other moms mention this. I was like, oh God, I got to get it, because, and I can see why, not only is it beautiful and colorful and the stories are short, but every story does point to Jesus. And I just find that beautiful, because that's what we need to be teaching our kids, is that everything points to Jesus. It's all about Jesus. And she just does it so beautifully. And if you haven't already gotten this book, I recommend it. It's perfect for young kids. My kids, my youngest just turned 5. My other one's about to turn 7. So I started reading this when my youngest was 4. My other daughter was 6. So I definitely think this is for young kids. You could probably even go to 3-year-olds with this book, but definitely 4-year-olds is perfect start. They're short enough to keep their attention. There's stuff for them to look at, and then you can talk to them about each of them about what they just learned. And they also still provide what the scripture is. So maybe for older kids, if you have more time, you can pull out the real scripture and read from that as well. And I would sometimes do that. Hands down, I highly recommend it. So this isn't in your resource for bedtime, go and get it. Given his grandfather Abraham, I will rescue the world through your family. But then God chose his people we at least expect, as we will see. Jacob stayed a long time working for his uncle Aloud. All right, kiddo, so we are moving on. And we are learning the Sermon on the Mount from Jesus, okay? Wherever Jesus went, lots of people went too. They loved being near him. Old people, young people, all kinds of people came to see Jesus. Sick people, well people, happy people, sad people, worried people, lots of them. worrying about lots of things. What if we don't have enough food or clothes, or suppose we run out of money? What if there isn't enough? What if everything goes wrong and we won't be all right? What then? When Jesus saw all the people, his heart was filled with love for them. They were like a little flock. No, Jesus said. They don't need to worry about that because God... Alright, so after I read through the Jesus Storybook, we read that all. Every night I would read that story, and that was, I told you, a really key one that just sparked it all. We had great little conversations with that, which when all of these books I see here, our bedtime has just turned into such beautiful moments of teaching my kids about Jesus, again, within 5 to 10 minutes. And I love it. The conversations, the questions that come from them, it's just really been really beautiful. After the Jesus Storybook one as being one of my favorites, my next best favorite nighttime devotion has been the gospel story, and it's been amazing. Discovering Jesus in the Old and New Testaments. And this, we're still going through it, but I get so excited for it. I think my kids get excited for it. We've been doing this now. We're on story 48. I just read to them last night, God gives Samson strength. But I love this book. After we read through, if you haven't, read through the Jesus Storybook and then go and get this one or do next. And again, it's short little stories to read to your kids about, it's like taking you through the Bible. And the one reason why I really liked about this one is it really goes through almost every book of the Bible. I know there's some Bible devotions out there that kind of like just breeze over ones. Like right now, again, we're going through Judges and Exodus, and then we're going to go through 1st and 2nd Ruth and Judges, Joshua, Numbers. Like it brings a story in from pretty much every book of the Bible, which I really like. Because some of these stories I didn't really know that well myself. I was like, oh yeah, that's where that is. I can't wait to go back and study that story even deeper. Again, they're beautiful pictures. And one other thing I love about it is that they got beautiful pictures. They got cute, simple questions you could ask your child at the end. It's usually somewhat related to the story, but it's also related to the picture. So it kind of helps them engage and focus on things. But this too, like the Jesus Storybook, has led into so many great discussions. And we've been doing this every night. My kids know it's part of their routine. I have a little print off of how our bedtime routine goes. And they always know after they do their reading and everybody's ready for bed, they go and sit in their beds and it's time for mommy to read our Bible devotion time. And they know that I say that, they expect it. And it's just, I believe I've been starting to see the fruits of being faithful to doing this, all of this before bedtime, teaching them something about the Bible or Jesus before bedtime has been amazing. Over the last couple of weeks and months, I just seen the fruit of it in everyday life, how it's really starting to change them and really it's changing me as well. So I highly recommend this book. If you haven't seen it yet or heard of it or you've been eyeing it, if you should buy it and read it to your kids, I would say it's a big yes. All right, here we go. Samson loses his strength. Samson made many enemies as a judge over Israel, especially among the Philistines. But he was too strong for them to fight, so they set traps for him instead. Even then, Samson escaped. Finally, the Philistines came up with a plan. Samson loved a Philistine woman named Delilah. The Philistines promised her a treasure of silver coins. Next book I got was Indescribable, 100 Devotions About God and Science. And the reason why I bought this one, I saw the moms recommend it. And it was great. And we haven't completely finished every single one, but we got through a lot of them. They're short little clips. They have great scripture. They have a prayer with it. They have a little section here called Be Amazed, which gives you a little extra insights, scientific type thing about whatever you're learning about. The reason why I was intrigued to try this one was because it says God and Science. And my husband is the science person. He likes to see the science behind things. So I figured, I'm going to get this to help him grow in his own faith as well. So, and do it with the kids. So it's been really, really fun. And my kids love learning about animals and different things. So this has been a really great resource about that. So this is a different way of teaching them about Jesus and God and the world. I really like it. It's set up differently than this book. This is actually pulling stories right from the Bible and teaching it. This is more teaching something, for example, a tool for God. And this is teaching you about a specific animal. And he tells you all about the unique, how God made this animal so uniquely. And then he ties it into the bigger story of God. And I really like that. Like, what amazing thought that God you to build his kingdom and help others know him too. And then it goes into, you learn more about an octopus. So it's a different side of them seeing God will use his creativity and his plan and purpose for different things in the world through science. So I really, really enjoy this. If you're someone who likes science or your kids like it, I recommend this. But again, they're short and simple, little great conversation starters too with your kids right before bed.
Faster than the speed of light, God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
And those humans.
Yeah. Genesis 1:3. Have you ever wished you'd been there to see God create the world?
Yeah.
I mean,
that would've been
how
pretty cool.
amazing would it have been to see how he did it all?
All right, so those were my top 3 favorites. Again, if you don't have any nighttime devotions, definitely check out any of those 3. You won't be disappointed. They're amazing books. Now I'm going to share with you all some of the books, devotions that I got, but I wasn't too blown away with. I got this book. It's one actually that Michelle came across in one day in her searches, and this whole series has a couple different things in this series, but I bought their superhero devotion. It's 101 Ways to Be a Superhero for Jesus. And overall, I must admit, we didn't finish this. I don't know if I plan to come back and finish it, but we read almost about half of them, and they're very short. They're little one-pagers. It says like this one, God is most important, and then John gives you a piece of scripture, then it gives you a little bit about it, and then it gives you like a little thing to remember, superhero, do this. Okay, I must admit this wasn't one of my favorites. I told you, the one reason why I didn't like it is because it seemed it goes back on them and that they need to be doing this, and it wasn't so much about the good news about Jesus and the gospel. I think there's other ways to teach your kids about their character and how to be more like Jesus that want that superhero-ness. So this could work, I would say, but I would feel need to add more. And like, it's not about being perfect, because we can never be perfect. But knowing that, yes, God says, do not steal. Remember, superheroes, we do not steal. So I think the general message is still good for them to know, but I think it was missing some of the elements that I loved about some of these other ones. Something really short, probably like a minute or 2. If you're short on time or your kid's attention span is just not there, but you just want to start planting different character qualities in them, this is, I would recommend it for that. But in general, teaching the main gospel, I'm not sure if this would be my first go-to. I still might give it a chance. I haven't decided yet. Was 365 Read Aloud Bedtime Bible Stories. Again, I was intrigued by this because again, it brings a lot of stories that you don't really hear of. Like this is all about in Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel. So stories I think you hear of, but you don't really hear of that much, like not the traditional ones like Noah and Moses. So I like that aspect of it. And again, they're simple and short. Usually it's just 1 page for a day. And it's made out to show one little story every day, 365 days, so it's for the whole year. So I still like that. I still might one day go back through, and I might wait now till my kid's a little bit older. But in general, I know the good stories to teach my kids. So let me know if you've read this book, what your thoughts are on this book, if you've read it, if you heard of it, if you enjoyed it. So I told you I'm still debating, going back and forth, that this will be one that one day I will read to my kids before bed. I'm thinking maybe when they're a little bit older and I've read a little bit more of the Bible myself, that I could be able to add more to each story, but we'll see. But I wanted to share this with you in case you were interested in it and wondering if it's worth your time. That's my thoughts on it. Again, it's no true pictures, no colored pictures, so it might not be that good for young kids because, again, all these other books I've shared, they're really about the pictures and letting the kids be inspired and intrigued by that way. So this might be better for older kids, but I do feel like teaching them these stories are important. The next 2 books, one of them, if you're inside my His Strong Children program, you'll see that I've actually did some of these devotions in real life with you, so you got to see what it was like. This one's not too bad. It's called God and Me, the devotions for ages 4 to 7-year-olds, which is why I got it. It's because those are the ages of my kids, so I was like, oh, I want to see it. But one thing I do like about it, they're short stories. They got lots of color, cute pictures, and then they have a prayer, and they also have some questions. You can talk with your kids, but I love that. I love when books add in the questions, because I think that's a lot of the beautiful conversation. This book has 7 devotions, so it's a short book. It's not something that, again, some of these ones will take longer to read. So if you're just looking for something for a week to kind of inspired, get started, this would be a great starting one. But again, it wasn't one of my top favorites. But if you have girls ages around 4 to 7, you can definitely check this one out. The last book that I bought that hasn't been one of my favorites yet, I say yet because I haven't really thoroughly given it my all yet like I've done these other ones, mainly because I guess I've just been blown away by those other 3 that I've already shared with you, that I haven't really set much time to this one, but I saw it as a recommendation from another mom. So I'm going to check this out. But it's the Big Book of Truth. And I think Sinclair Ferguson is a great writer and shares a lot of good things. So I'm still going to give this book a chance. I, again, might wait till my kids are a little bit older, or wait till we get through the gospel story one that I'm reading right now to my kids. And when we're done with all that, maybe by then I'll be ready to go through this. I'm not going to give up on this one yet, because I like it, because I think it shares good stories. And then I love, again, how it ends with a prayer. And then it does have you talk about certain things. Like this one's about running the race and what is it like to live a Christian race, and that there's going to be ups and downs. This is, again, that realizing that we belong to Jesus, and I love that. So again, overall, I like it. What does it mean to be a Christian? So I like this because it says it's a big book of truths, which it's important to me to teach my kids what is a Christian life. What does it mean that they are a Christian, not only learning about Jesus and reading him at night, but also what does it mean to be a Christian, and what does that really look like in the world we live in? And like this one's about how to be patient. One thing about this one, as you can tell, it's a big book. There's no color. It's a black and white book, which isn't horrible. But again, I think it might be better for a little bit of older kids, definitely 5-year-old and up, because colors, again, can keep the little kids' attentions more than this. But this one I definitely think has good conversations and things to teach your kids. So this is one that I'm going to give a try to my kids and read through, because I do think it has some good truths in there that I want my kids to know and understand. So like I said, these 3 would be my top 3 nighttime devotions of how I teach my kids about Jesus. Young kids, again, ages about 4 to 7. I feel like these books are really good for. My next 2 favorites would be these 2. Again, this is a short and simple 7-day one, and then this one's just teaching you some big truths about being a Christian, which I like. And then my least 2 favorites, again, were the 365 bedtime stories and the superhero devotion. So those, in a nutshell, are the devotions, the ones that I've tried and didn't really like so much, and then the ones that I have read and have really impacted me and my family in a positive way. And I really hope it has blessed you in some way. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these devotions and how you liking them. If there's one here that I didn't mention, please list it down below. I do want to mention, though, I have a long list of books I plan to buy and read to my kids. These are the first ones I felt were good to start with. But I told you I have a list of when Lila turns this age, buy these books. When Madison turns this age, buy these books to read them. So I do have a list. I'm probably going to be back down the road with more videos I feel are worth buying into. So make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of those videos. And if you enjoyed today's video, as it blessed you in some way, inspired you to start teaching your kids about Jesus before bed, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate the support. So this is part 1, actually, of a series that I'm doing of just books that I read to my kids of how I teach them about Jesus and living a Christian life. So this is part 1. I'm going over more of like bedtime devotions that I focus on doing. The part 2 video that's going to be coming up, I'm going to be sharing more just general, I'm going to be sharing bedtime stories that I read to my kids that are just more faith and Christian inspired writing. They're not necessarily reading a story from the Bible. They're just other parts, other good Christian books I feel really good that I want to share with you. On top of that, make sure you again subscribe, because on those videos are coming. I also plan on doing a video of the current Christian parenting books that I have read that have really made an impact on my life. Again, I have a list of more that I plan to read, but I plan on working on the ones that I've already read, that I'm sharing my thoughts on them in case you're interested in any of those. And then I'm also going to be doing a video on some of my currently the favorite read aloud books that I've been reading to my kids that I really enjoyed, that were surprising to me, that I want to share with you. And I'm also going to be working on a video of sharing some of the resources and books that I use to teach my kids about sex, the birds and the bees topic, that fun topic so many of us parents know we should talk about our kids but unsure of. So I'm going to be sharing how I'm approaching it and the research I found. And I'm also going to be sharing a video on a really cool online resource that has really helped talk to my kids again about Christians and general faith and solid foundation of truth. That's a lot of videos coming your way. So make sure you subscribe to our channel by clicking the button below. Again, here, when you subscribe here, you're getting notified of when there's a new video from Michelle and I, because again, here we talk about family, living, raising Christian kids. We also share our faith journey, Bible studies, health and fitness, all with a Christian perspective, and sharing any truths that Michelle and I come across, again, like our story, our testimonies that we fell away, did some false teachings, now back with Christ and sharing everything that we've been learning along the way. So when you subscribe, you're coming up being part of our community, part of our online family, and we love you girls so much. I appreciate you being here, being a supporter of me and Michelle and the work that we do here. We love you girls so much. May God bless you today, and I'll chat with you in the next video.